cool shopping center, and Bishop Museum was always part of that trip that I really looked forward to, because in the exhibition hall that this show is happening in, it was where all the rotating exhibitions would happen. And so you would see like the dinosaur exhibit, the Lego exhibit, that kind of thing. And for us to be painting a mural in this space is just kind of like this crazy circle where we would just never have imagined it. And so we're really thankful to Jasper and Pow Wow for bringing it here, because it really is a major part of people's childhoods, if you grew up in Hawaii, to be in this space. And that's kind of what everybody's been talking about. Like, although Hawaii people are just like, can you imagine we're in the Bishop Museum? This is crazy.
That's so great.
And especially, just bringing street art into it, and this whole contemporary art movement, and representing Hawaii artists, because Hawaiian culture, and maybe Matt can speak on this, but Hawaiian culture is such, like many, there's so many things about the language and the landscape and everything that, sorry about that, moped just going by right now.
You're driving so fast.
Distracted driving, what's going on?
Yeah,
I promise I'm not on the moped.
That's one thing I really love about what Jasper does, because I know that if anyone's unfamiliar, they produce these mural festivals worldwide. But one thing I really love that Jasper and the team does, and like makes a priority, is that they bring local artists into the fold and include them with these huge, internationally known artists as well. I know you guys are born and raised in Hawaii, and so it's just awesome to hear that story of like coming full circle, growing up, going to the Bishop Museum, and then now exhibiting in it, which is amazing. So congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Go ahead, Jasper.
No, I was in the clapping thing.
Oh, okay. Cool. But we also have some people visiting from outside of the islands, which would include like Matt and Tris and Alex and many, many more, but that's who we're featuring tonight. I know that, Alex, is this your first powwow? Or I haven't seen that many like updates on Instagram yet.
Well, it was Matt's idea, and I was so thrilled with the idea he came up with. The idea was to, this is the 10-year anniversary of Pow Wow, and we thought, why not honor its founders and paint the founders of Pow Wow? So I'm painting Kamea, Jasper, and Gress.
I love that.
And I'm so happy to be doing it. And it was so funny watching them all be kind of like awkward and shy about it.
So great.
He's like grown men, like, oh, hey, yeah, okay, you're painting me. Okay, cool, bye. It was very funny. But, I'm surprised that no one's painted them much before, because they've done so much for everybody. And, I think that by painting them, it gives me a chance to talk about how much they've done for me and for so many other people, and for the community, and for this, not just the community of people that live with the murals, but the community of artists that are painting them. Pow Wow's done so much to make us a stronger community of artists, and given us opportunities to get to know each other in ways that we would not normally. And that's made this whole movement stronger and better. And I'm just so in awe of what they've done, and how after all this time, they are still so tight. The three of these brothers, they've always had this like unbroken front of like silly friendliness and hardworking perseverance and just great attitude, great vibes. And I'm just so happy to be involved with it. And I think if there's anything I want anyone to take away from my perspective on Pow Wow, is that I think that Pow Wow really gives back to you what you put into it. And for me personally, my story, I cold emailed Pow Wow out of the blue 7 or 8 years ago, and this is like a lesson to the younger artists out there, I guess, that like, no one's too big to write an email to someone. And I just emailed Jasper and said, hey man, you're doing all these cool murals with a lot of my friends and artists I love. If there's ever any room for me, I'd love to be involved. And he emailed me back, and that's how I got down with Pow Wow. And he emailed me back and was like, "Hey, dude, come this year." So he put me on like immediately. It was like immediate good karma. But you know, every powwow, I try to like go over the top, overboard, and really try to make them look good. So you know, they've never been shy to give me big, giant walls because they know that I'll, you know, do my work and do my hardest to make them look good. In South Korea, in Long Beach, and you know, all over where I've done powwows, I've always tried to like just really go over the top and make powwow a shining example of what public art can be. But you know, the work I've done for powwow has given back to me so much. You know, it's awesome, man. Like I'm so grateful for what these guys have put together.
Me too. I think that's one of my. When I first went to powwow in 2014, that definitely was my takeaway when I left the island. I was just totally taken back by how hard they worked, and you could tell that like the intention behind the entire like festival was to bring everyone together, to educate, and really beautify the community. And it was just, I was really impressed and honored to be a part of it, even in the smallest way, because I was just there with Dave Persuade, my husband, and it was his first year painting with them, and I have nothing but good memories of all of the powwows that I've been able to attend. So yeah, Jasper, Gress, Kamea, we love you guys and the work that you do.
The real gift of powwow is the longevity and the friendships you can develop here, the freedom to be yourself and really explore who you are and truly understand the people around you that benefit you way long term beyond the life of your mural. And I too am sincerely so grateful for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the work that they do is so important, and it is so far-reaching for so many different people, and they set just a wonderful example to community builders all over the world in what it should be, what it should look like. You know, they're as inclusive as they can be, and they really go out of their way to include as many people as they can. Like I've heard of people showing up to powwows and asking for a wall, and they'll scramble and find one and give them paint if they can. So yeah, I agree. It's a gift that keeps on giving. So shout out to Jasper, Gress, and Kamea. I can't wait to see that wall, Tris and Matt. That sounds like such a great concept. That's brilliant, but I would expect no less from you guys.
And the context, what better context for their portraiture than in this like natural history museum for the state and people of Hawaii? Like it works, and we're so honored to be able to do that.
Because they're beasts.
Yes, I love it. Oh, but speaking of quarantine, like I have a question for all of the artists, actually everyone in the room. What was the last thing you guys did before everything shut down? Like, were you traveling? Where was the last place you traveled, or something like that? What was the last thing you did?
Well, for me, I was actually beginning to lads. I was pretty excited to be traveling all 2020, and then all this COVID stuff happened, and I mean, it was kind of a blessing in disguise because I got to focus a lot more on my work and less on trying to focus on traveling and conventions and stuff.